Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan Battle video. Today is a fun day. In years past, today was kind of one of the best days of the year for Dokkan. So I'm talking in 2024, 2023, 2022, like all these previous years, right? The reason for this has nothing to do with what's on screen, actually. It's that today is the day that the Tanabata banner would drop, and Global would typically get the part one of their anniversary. So I've mentioned this many times, but back in the 2020, 2021, 2022, like that kind of era, July was kind of like the biggest month of the year for Dokkan because of the massive global anniversary plus the Tanabata celebration, which is very big, and interest is very high. At Metal Cooler's celebration, despite the fact that it was maybe the best kind of like monthly celebration ever, was also one of the lowest interest, right? People just weren't really on the game, weren't really too interested in Dokkan. People are on the game right now. People do care about like what's going on. Cooler and Goku are very popular. Beast Gohan is one of these kind of like controversial but popular characters, right? So we got a lot going on. So the Tanabata banner drops tonight. I felt like this was an appropriate time to now post this. Talking about who the part 2 LR would be. This is kind of like one of these like format videos I've started doing where we just kind of show the history of this time slot. Now remember, this time slot, there's a little bit of weirdness here for both 2018 and 2025, which we'll talk about, right? So right here, we're expecting the part 2 LR on the 21st at the moment. So that is 2 weeks out. The reason for this, right here, as we could see, this is when the summon point lineup is going to get updated. This has been announced many months in advance that the 21st is when the summon lineup is going to get updated. So that tells us that's when the banner should drop. What's really crazy about that is the 21st, and then the Dokkan Fest, which is probably going to be something I would say low, like Krillin Dokkan Fest or something, right? Is probably going to be on the 31st. So it's like we are going to have back-to-back weeks with a banner, but that is normal. That's kind of like the normal JP Dokkan timeline. So we get a Dokkan Fest there. Then we'll get the Peppy Gal banner probably on this week. The 10th to the 14th would be my guess. And then I think GDC, 28th is the target day I have for the GDC. So we're in like super hot season for Dokkan right now. It's like the Peppy Gal stuff people aren't usually too crazy about, but we go pretty much right from TDC into GDC, right? So keep this in mind. So that's why I don't, it's like summoning for Beast. Like the more I use Beast Gohan, the more I like him. I'll tell you all that, but I don't know that he's the best character to summon on. I probably wouldn't summon on the Tanabata banner either. I don't know about the Part 2 LR banner also, which, I mean, if you look at this lineup, so 2019 was Gohan and Goten. Part 2 LR was Broly. 2020 was Blue Goku and Vegeta. Blue Kaioken Goku, Evolution Blue Vegeta. Then it was Full Power Jiren. 2021, Super Gogeta. There's Janemba. 2022 was Father, Son, Gallic Gun, Vegeta, and Trunks. Fusion Zamasu. 2023 was Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Now, to be fair, we were at first expecting Baby, and then they dropped Omega, right? 2024 was, transforming Tech UI Goku, Jiren. And then last year was Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Omega, but remember, GDC was kind of moved into that spot. Now, I just simply put, I fully am expecting Cell Max here. Cell Max is what I expect. Like these big villains, I think this is going to continue, and it's going to be a Cell Max. Probably based around movie bosses. I mean, at least for the leader skill. Carnival movie boss leader skill, which would be fantastic. So I hope that when they give us Cell Max, I guess we'll talk about this now. So there's two options. It could be Cell Max or it could be Orange Piccolo. I would prefer probably Orange Piccolo. But I mean, Cell Max is totally fine with me because we'd be buffing movie bosses, we'd be buffing Android, right? Now, Cell Max here. Let's take a look. Android, Artificial Life Form, Uncontrollable Power, Final Trump Card, Super Bosses, Movie Bosses, Battle of Fate. Yeah, I mean, like Super Bosses, Movie Bosses, Battle of Fate. Those are kind of like the main kind of like setups that this guy might be a major factor for. I'd be excited because he got power like cliffed. This guy, when this guy first dropped, I was like, oh my god, like this is like he's like Beast Gohan level. Like I think from Anniversary until this guy dropped in, so let's go. So this was the June LR in 2024, right? So yeah, June 18th, 2024. At the time, I believe I had this guy like on the same tier as Beast, but the way he was set up right here, when he dropped, the meta was not, oh my god, insanity turn one. But then like that Tanabata, like some of those fights like got actually a little tough for Salmax's first turn. At the end of the fight, this guy was still very dominant with his active skill, right? The explosive scream right here. But you know, this is a tough mechanic to have. Having to get hit. That's still the issue with this guy, by the way, who's much better with Beast, but having to get hit to get that defense is still a little bit of a thorn on his side. So I'm heavily anticipating Cellmax. I don't think that they're gonna try and, you know, pull a fast one on us or anything. I think they're probably just gonna drop Cellmax. Orange Piccolo would be great, but Cellmax is what I expect. We'll see. Now let's head back over here. All right, so let's just go ahead and look at kind of like the history of these. We'll start with 2018. So 2018, I had it put down just as NA. There is actually a character that I could have put there, by the way, but I'll show you exactly why I didn't. So it's Cell. Cell is the character who it was right here. Cell. So if we go to JP right here, we'll see when he dropped. Cell dropped on August 9th, 2018. This is why I didn't put Cell here, but they don't right now. Dokkan does not drop LRs in that time slot, right? So that's why I could have put Cell here. I could have put Cell here. But like if we would look at the timeline, here's the timeline. Shout out to the Dokkan stats for having the timeline here. So July 1st, this is 2018. This was the Tanabata character, right? Ultra Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. By the way, I would absolutely love a remake of this guy. Turn 1, Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku would be cinema. Remember, him doing the Kamehameha Dragon Fist against Omega? Like that easily could be like a Dokkan Fest LR, Carnival LR, something like that, right? We have Battlefield LR, Metal Cooler. Apparently into Ultimate Gohan EZ'd in the celebration. Now, I don't have much of a recollection of this. I remember this guy dropping. I remember they adjusted this guy. They tweeted this guy out with Shattering the Limit, and people were furious, and they changed it to Fierce Battle before he released, right? I remember this guy. I don't remember this guy dropping during the celebration. Then this Super Battle Road Goku. And then here's the next Dokkan Fest, Android 17. And then 21 was the ban unit with him. And then Cell was the Part 2 banner, or Part 2 LR. No year past this has a Yellow Coin LR in August like this. So this Cell is kind of like the counterpart for this, right? So even though I didn't have Cell put on here, Cell is kind of like this LR. It's just it was before they tied the LR to the Tanabata celebration, right? Every other year after this, it was, as you guys can see, tied to the actual Tanabata celebration itself. So Cell is who we, you know, could have gone with right there. And then we have Broly. If you guys remember, so the Japanese players back then, like they were, I think they were, you know, a little bit bummed that Gohan and Goten was a global first, like for maybe many months. It was for a couple of months, right? But I remember this. When Global got this guy, Japanese players were fucking pissed that they didn't have this guy. And if you guys don't remember when this guy dropped, so let's look. So for Global, he dropped on May 23rd, 2019. And then for JP, it was July 18th, 2019. If you guys don't remember, this guy's animations at the time were like the best in the game. So people, like Japanese players were furious that this Broly was not on JP and was global first. I never, I mean, I'm very happy we're synced, right? Firsts on either side was dumb. Remember, like they fucking JP was getting LR Beast Gohan, strongest character of all time, and Global was like scheduled to get LR Ribrianne. Like it's just like shit like that should just not happen. You know, the game was a little bit more exciting when the games weren't synced because there was different. So it felt like there was more going on overall because the games weren't getting the same stuff at the same time, right? So it's like, oh no, JP is, super boring with the Metal Cooler celebration or something like that. But like Global is, getting ready. They're hyping up for like anniversary hype, type shit, right? So, all right, there's Broly. Next here was Blue Kaioken Goku Evolution Blue Vegeta. And then we got the full power Jiren. Remember, this is the genesis of, Jiren does that turn 1, right? That's this full power Jiren. Love this guy. 2021 was Janemba, who, remember, a full year later, he was still very effective with Cooler after the Cooler movie stuff dropped. July 20th, 2021 for Janemba. Fusion Zamasu, who was one of the best units in the game, like his kit was so good, but he just didn't really have a great setup. And then the guy Easy Aid, and I will maintain forever they gave him a good kit on Easy A, but he was weak to AoEs and locking, and the entire meta was AoEs and locking, right? So, I kind of hurt him quite a bit. But he was July 21st, 2022. We had Omega. Remember, at the time, we were actually anticipating. By the way, remember, all Revive characters have a Dokkan Frontier further revive. Well, except for individual character revives like Metal Cooler, Fat Boo, because it's just they themselves die, so they didn't need to adjust it. Omega here. He came out on July 20th, 2023. We were anticipating Baby at first, because it was Baby Saga Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but ended up being Omega right there. Then here we go, 2024, Jiren. July 18th, he came out. Very, very fun unit, right? I still see people using this Jiren, by the way, because when you go into his standby, he has 100% damage reduction. No matter what, you can't power creep 100% damage reduction, right? I don't think a boss is going to exist where it's like, oh, you magically have 0 damage reduction now, right? Even Dokkan Frontier doesn't have shit like that, right? Hell no. And then last year, remember, it was a little different because GDC was in this time slot. So it was Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, who's still really good, and Omega. Omega, unfortunately, I think has fallen off a little bit. Omega is kind of like the best character on the team, or fighting like him and Rose. Like Omega would need, like, he needs a character weight like twice as good as him. And we could rock Omega. The only thing about Omega is, remember, he does still have his very strict intro condition. All allies are villains, right? So if you want to use him in Dokkan Frontier, keep this in mind. Your second team must be full villain too to get his intro, right? Yesterday I did do a team building guide for Dokkan Frontier to kind of explain those little intricacies of Dokkan Frontier and some of these character restrictions. What the actual counterpart though for this celebration, which was Broly, Jiren, Janemba, Zamasu, Omega, Jiren, right? It was actually Wrath Broly. This was TDC last year, right? Wrath Broly. This guy, unfortunately, he really does count as like the worst. He is the festival like destroyer, right? You could absolutely obliterate festival with him. So I guess I never want to be too harsh on him because he was designed with a purpose in mind, destroy festival, and he does that, right? So he, at least the point of them making him, he is very successful at. So it's hard to like go in, but like outside of festival, like I have just never found success with this guy. I always thought like, oh, but he's got the scouter active on his second turn and stuff, but like it just doesn't matter, dude. And I know why. A big reason is because of this fucking horse shit, man. Having to get hit, dude, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like, you have to be Prime Beast Gohan for this shit to be, like, effective. Like, it's like, they gave it to Metal Cooler and it works. Why? Well, because number one, Metal Cooler turn 1's got, 90% damage reduction? 8%? It's 90% damage reduction turn 1 if you got this, right? So he's got 90% damage reduction. He has massive dodge. And oh, by the way, he could get hit or dodge, right? Like that, it's just, having to get hit is just, it accelerates your aging process. Like, you will age twice as fast as a unit in Dokkan if you have to get hit to get abilities, right? This will apply eventually to Metal Cooler, by the way. Where, like, it's, eventually this is going to be, like, very annoying on him. Like, having to, I don't know. It seems crazy, but yeah, eventually turn like even turn 1, he'll take a lot of damage in like slot 1 or something, right? But eventually this will probably be Metal Cooler's downfall, which is funny because right now this is probably the single most busted thing about him, right? This ability specifically. So, all right, yeah, there we go. So, remember, I mean, talking about this, we could put Cell right there, and this could be Wrath Broly right there, but this generally is what we can anticipate. Probably going to be Cell Max. I mean, maybe there's some cope that we could get Orange Piccolo, which I think would help Beast, which would be very good. But I think that this is what we're going to be seeing. So, Angels, my loves, let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you guys next time.